By now, everyone has heard of the earthquakes in Turkey and Syria. I'm making this video specifically because a friend who was directly impacted by this tragedy had requested me to make this video. Initially, I was confused as to how to talk about something that was by the will of Allah, because as you guys know, the intention here isn't to give da'wah, even though we as Muslims do have a certain obligation to one another to be a reminder for one another. But I do stay away from da'wah because I don't feel like I'm qualified for it. But then I started to notice it from a different perspective. I started to notice something that even bothered me a little bit, I guess I could say. When I think about the tragedy in Turkey and Syria, and I think the number is at like 30, 40,000 by now that have passed away. Rahimullah, may Allah have mercy on them, and may Allah ease the pain of their families. One thing I noticed is that the society we live in, the country that we live in, this world that we live in, is quite literally designed to not care about anything but movements. And let me explain that, right? Like the tragedy and earthquake in Syria and Turkey didn't quite become a movement. Although it was a tragedy, it was a world, everyone in the world knew about it. Everyone made their posts, everyone said their opinion, and it's almost as if we've moved on. Almost kind of like the tragedy in Ohio with the chemical spill. Everyone made their posts, everyone talked about it, and it seems like the whole world has moved on. Meanwhile, the president of this great country, instead of going to two places of the options that he had of places to go, instead of going to the two places that are quite literally dealing with a humanitarian crisis at this very moment, a life or death situation at this very moment, our president decided to meet with people that are at war, a war that has nothing to do with us. And I don't want to get too sidetracked from what I'm saying by getting into that, but I think all I'm trying to say is that pay attention to how like free Palestine is still around, mashallah, and we love Palestine. May Allah free them, right? May Allah free all of those that are oppressed all around the world. But free Palestine became a movement, and so that's why, and it gave the United States an excuse to enter that part of the world, if we're going to be completely honest, and it gave the United States an excuse to support who they're supporting. So when they're politically tied into what's going on over there, it seems like we have a reasonable excuse for it. Another thing that I've realized has also become a movement. If you guys remember the tall basketball player that was freed, it was a movement. It became a movement. You had millions of posts, you had millions of pictures, millions of people talking about it. And it's scary as hell. It really is. That means that, bro, like, it doesn't matter how serious what's going on in different parts of the world is. None of us, including myself, none of us really care for more than a day or two unless it is a ongoing movement, unless everyone cares. We treated this earthquake with Syria and Turkey as if, it was a fad, something that came and gone, not understanding that when 40,000 people pass away in an instant, those 40,000 people are related to thousands of people each. These are millions. We're talking about millions of people that have been impacted in a moment, in a matter of minutes. Not only that, like, and I'm gonna wrap this up because I don't want to go too far, but you know, we are literally on a brink of something in this dunya, in the time that we're in. We're on the brink of, I don't know what's gonna happen next, but it seems like things are only gonna get worse. Like, because it's kind of tough to know that we have all lost touch with the sense of empathy to say, damn, like, do you understand? Like, there were people that were sleeping. This earthquake occurred at 4, 5, 6 in the morning. There were people who were sleeping. It could have happened to any of us, like, quite literally. Like, this isn't some accident. This isn't man-made. This is like you going home, getting into your bed, and the entire house collapses on top of you. No one is completely safe from that. I think my point is to say that I hope to see a day in the world where tragedies are not, you know, given their priority based on the movement behind it, based on the amount of posts and ideas and thoughts and opinions that it receives from the general public. Yes, in general, this is something that is popular, but popular does not always equate to more important. There are real people dying, there are real people starving, there are real people dying of thirst. And we have like everything in access. We're very, very blessed to be where we are in the time of the world that we are in right now. The sense of security that we have, the sense of help, being able to just reach out if you're going through something, knowing there are organizations, there are corporations, there are nonprofits that are literally designed to assist you in whatever it is you may be going through. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. To know that, if we were to deal with a major earthquake here in Minnesota, we wouldn't be as bad off as they are in Syria and Turkey because we have infrastructure here. This is something to be grateful about that we don't even think about. It's like blinking. Let's be more empathetic as humans, not as anything else. Not, as humans first, and then let us as Muslims remind ourselves that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if a piece of the ummah is injured or sick or hurting, or they're going through a crisis, it is equivalent to all of the ummah going through it. Assalamu alaikum.